That's in motion with Infor CloudSuite Distribution. My name's Jared Gator, and I'm a marketing coordinator here at Aktion Associates. Rob Dallas is going to be presenting for you guys today. He's a senior distribution solutions consultant here at Aktion with 25 plus years working with the Infor distribution products, 12 plus of those being with the SXC, better known as CSD, so CloudSuite Distribution products. As far as our agenda is concerned for today, though, we're going to go into some distribution industry trends, followed by Infor distribution ERP solutions. Go into a demo, which is going to take up the majority of our time today, so about probably 20 minutes or so. We'll go into the action difference. After that, we'll save about the last 3 to 5 minutes for a Q&A to answer your questions live. But at this point in time, I'll go ahead and advance the slide and pass things over to Rob. So Rob, whenever you're ready, please feel free.
Great. Thanks, Jared. Can you hear me okay?
I can.
Great. Welcome, everyone. I wanted to start off by talking about how Infor got to CSD, or CloudSuite Distribution. They realized that distribution was disrupted for many reasons, and I'll touch on some of these in a few moments. And what they decided to do was take their premier distribution package, which was SX Enterprise or SXE, and add a browser UI to it and move it to the cloud. And at the same time, add a layer of technology within the ERP. Well, why did they do this? What were some of those reasons? They wanted an omni-channel sales experience. They realize that distributors are having to expand their services, their offerings, because of competition with e-giants and big box retailers. As distributors were always fighting margin erosion, so trying to stay as lean as possible. And I think these last two are becoming more and more prevalent. Big data insight, taking that data that you have within your system and turning it into useful information. And then the dynamic workforce. This new generation of employees of the workforce that are coming into distributors, they grew up with technology. So their expectations are much greater. So to be able to hire and retain those qualified individuals, Infor realized the distribution ERP had to meet that level of technology. So what do you get with CloudSuite Distribution? It is a multi-tenant SaaS product. So it's, again, cloud-based product. It's updated monthly. Third Saturday of every month, you get a new update. So you're always current. So it's subscription-based. So what is included with that subscription? Of course, all your main core capabilities here at the top: sales processing, pricing, quoting, sales order management, invoicing, your inventory management, procurement, demand planning, real-time accounting, and proof of delivery, all included with the core capabilities. There are many optional capabilities that you may or may not need today, or maybe in 5-10 years as your business evolves, you decide to add them. And it is as simple as licensing and implementing these extended modules. For example, warehouse management, being able to go paperless in the warehouse using barcoding and RF devices. Service and repair, for example. Infor CRM to manage our opportunities in our pipeline. A rental. And all of this sits on what's called Infor OS, Infor Operating Services. And this is that layer of technology that I mentioned, and it comes with some nice functionality. And again, all of this is included with your subscription. Just to give you some examples here, workflows and alerts, being able to define what happens when a business event occurs. Who needs to be notified? Who gets tasks, maybe for approvals? Document management, in an onboard document management system that's fully integrated. So when you're looking at a customer or an order or a purchase order, you can see any of the related digital documents. Mingle, which is a collaboration tool, so you can actually message one another within the system. And then the analytics. So a set of dashboards and reports, a true BI tool is included with your subscription. And all of it sits on AWS, Amazon Web Services. As you know, Infor is the author or manufacturer of the software. They've gone through some recent growth as well. They're now the third largest ERP company in the world. You see here some nice numbers with their strong micro-vertical expertise. But I think what is important to note here, or to take away, is that they're really striving to be leaders in innovation and technology. So not only are they continuously adding distribution functionality to the core product, but they want to keep adding this layer of technology and innovation and to leverage technology. So let's take a look at CloudSuite Distribution. So I'm going to share my screen here. And 1 second. Okay. Toggle over to my browser. Again, device independent. I'm on a MacBook Pro, but as long as you have one of the more recent versions of a browser, they all work. It can be a desktop, laptop, tablet. I've even seen inquiries done on a smartphone. When a user lands, excuse me, or connects, they land at what's called a home page. Typically, these are role-based. You may have a sales order homepage, for customer service reps, you may have an inventory homepage, you may have an accounting homepage. Infor gives you templates that you can use to start with. Here I threw one together with some of the different widgets that they provide. Maybe in this top banner you want announcements, right? Executive announcements, maybe training videos or new functionality you're implementing. On this next row, I've got alerts and tasks. And again, these were automatically generated based on something happening, a business event in the system. Post, the collaboration tool. And what's nice about that is, again, you message it. Let's say you're looking at a purchase order that's late. You want to message your buyer. You are in the PO. You hit a share icon. You message your coworker. Inside of the message is a link to the PO. So as your coworker is reading the message, they simply click on the link and it takes them right into purchase order inquiry. This What's New widget. Because again, every third Saturday of the month, a new update is released. So maybe you want to drill in and see some of the new functionality that's going to be added with that update. And if I scroll down a little bit more, I've got maybe some quick links to entry or inquiry functions that are important to my role. Maybe some analytics that I want to have on my homepage. Again, the idea is you're able to push information out to a user, right, depending on their role, for things that are relevant for them to do their job. So instead of relying on them to go run a report or look at an inquiry, we're going to push that information out. Now, excuse me, at the top left, notice this icon. This is what's called the app menu. And it lets you toggle between the different applications that are docked within Infor OS. So the distribution app that we're going to spend our time in today, there's also the full-blown doc management interface, the Mingle collaboration application, defining workflows, or the analytics, which we're going to try to jump into at the end if we have time. I'm going to go into the distribution module. And the first thing you notice is this landing page is there's a system-wide search. Because Infor realized people don't want lookups to be modular. You don't want to have to go into a module and then do a lookup. You want whatever you're looking for to cross over throughout the entire system. So if I were to enter in, let's say, the word Northern, I'm going to get hits from products, invoices, sales orders, vendors, customers, etc. Okay? And navigating is very intuitive. We're all used to browsing the internet. So if you see a hyperlink, let's say I wanted to look at this customer, Northern Companies. I could drill into this account. And now notice it took me right into customer inquiry. Okay? Now I get a nice overview of this account. Okay? I can see some, again, some metrics related to this account, some sales information, credit information. I can also then look at general information pertaining to the account, address, contact information. But notice these subtabs up here, subviews. This is a way to put more information right at your fingertips. And all of the inquiries and most of the functions have this capability. So I can quickly get to receivables by job. Now we drilled into this customer inquiry from our search results. There is a main menu, as you'd expect. Right? I could have quickly just gone in and looked at customer inquiry. And users only see functions you granted them security to access. You can do lookups. So if you know the access code, or I could just type in something I'm trying to do. If I were trying to set up pricing, I could enter in PDSP, but I could also just see any functions that contain those characters in the name. But I think the easiest way to navigate is this icon right here at the top, which opens up what are called personalized bookmarks. So again, similar to your personal life today, where you have your favorite entertainment site, news site, or sports site, one click away. Let's do that with functions that you utilize most frequently. And even you have the ability to have submenus within those bookmarks. Okay. So let's say you get into the office and there's a message for you that Northern Companies wants a quote of a product and maybe to check on an open order that they have. So let's start by using a bookmark, and we're going to jump right into what's called customer pricing inquiry. We don't have to start a quote to get availability or pricing. We can go into this function, and we can look up the customer by, if we know part of their customer name, or number, part of their name, the city, an address, a phone number, and the more I give it, it narrows down the search results. Okay? And also, whenever you click on a field, it shows you your most recently used. So as you're navigating the system, no longer are you jotting things down on a yellow sticky note or scratch pad. Right? Every field, customer, order number, product, vendor, etc., you're going to see your recently used. So on product, let's say they're looking for a grill. Well, I have many grills, but this happens to be a built-in grill. Right? So now at the top are any items that have both of those words, right? Similar to your Google search results. And one nice thing I like about this is that you get to see what you have available before you even select an item. And let's say you sell many different grills, so then we can do what's called an advanced lookup by hitting this search icon. And now it opens another window. I see short description, availability, a 256 character extended description, all of which is part of your lookups and searches. Then go ahead and select an item. First thing you notice here is there's a product image. Well, let's say you wanted the spec sheet for this item, or you're somewhere in the system that didn't have an image. Well, look, notice these arrows at the top right. These open up what are called web parts. And these are objects that are dynamic, and they're monitoring what you're doing, and they change what they provide based on what you're looking at. So, for example, if I wanted to look at doc management, I could look at any documents pertaining to the item that I'm currently using, and I could see that picture or that spec sheet. Right? Or for the customer, I may want to see the credit application, tax exempt form. Again, anything that you can digitally store and be associated with an entity. Okay? Here we see current availability, the list price of this item, and then this customer's today price going through all of our pricing records or contracts. Now, let's say we've given them the price and availability of this item, but now they want to check on the status of an order. So again, I'm going to use a bookmark and just jump into order inquiry. And if they knew the order number, I could quickly enter it. Or I have the ability to do what's called an advanced search. And again, all the inquiries have this capability. And what's nice here is you dictate how you want to interact with the search. For example, notice by default, I've got mine set up with 7 fields enabled. But for this situation, maybe I want to turn on additional fields to filter by. Maybe a date range that was entered or invoiced. Maybe by product, to see who bought what, or this customer bought that specific item, or reference field, or transaction type. And now, due to the technology within the browser, it's dynamic. It just redesigned the screen. You can have save searches. So maybe as a sales rep, I want quick single-click access to my open orders or open quotes, or maybe by job or by ship to. For my example, I'm just going to look for certain characters that are within a customer's PO. And notice here we have a few hits. Right? One thing to point out, whenever you see a blue hyperlink, that means you can always drill down to gain additional information. So if I want to drill into this customer, it takes me right back into that customer inquiry. As you can always, again, drill down or drill across. So if I want to look at that order, let's say I drill into it, I see some relevant header or overview information. I can see some margin and cost information to the order. I can see the stage of the order as it transitions through the system. And I can see some line information as well. If I wanted to see address, shipping information, I could look at the header. Or I could go over to line detail and see the body or the items on this order. Now, there are many different columns that can be displayed. You can hide columns, but you really can personalize the screens to a user. So you can rearrange these columns in any way you see fit. That can be by individual or by groups of users. You can sort these grids by any column by clicking on the heading. You can change the color of any of the fields, and it's all done through personalization. Not really changing anything in the code, in the product itself. Any of these grids can be exported to Excel. They come over nicely formatted with filtering already pre-established, or you could even turn on filtering right here within this grid. So if you were looking at this, let's say it's an 80-line order, you quickly wanted to see the items where the description contains certain characters or does not contain or does not equal. So if I quickly wanted to see my tab extensions, I could filter out those lines. And that's on any column in any grid within the system. You have this nice filtering capability. Okay, and again, look at these hyperlinks. You could drill into item inquiry, item availability inquiry, the pricing inquiry. Again, so you have the ability to drill across wherever you are, drill down. So now back to our scenario. Northern companies, we've given them pricing and availability. We've reviewed this order. Now they want to place a new order with us. So again, I'm going to jump up with a bookmark into order entry. And it remembers who we were working with. Right? So I'm going to enter in a stock order here. Notice I changed the customer PO field to be blue, just so it would jump out at me. You could even make this a required field if you wanted. Again, all through personalization. I'm going to go ahead and create a new order, because there's 4 things you can do with an order. Create a new order, edit an existing order, delete an order, or copy an order. But here I'm going to create a new order, and the orientation is left to right. So at the left here is our banner or header, right? And I could change the type of order. If let's say I started an order and they want a quote, I could just edit the type of order. I could edit the ship to address or see some of my order totals. Product selection on this order is done in the center. There are different ways to find products, which we'll look at. My shopping cart or footer is over here on the right. Okay. Now, this is what's called easy entry, because to me, it resembles what we're used to doing in our personal lives, maybe with Amazon. And what I mean by that is, let's say I look up LED light. Right? Now I'm getting to see my list of products. I get to see a short description, maybe product images, availability, the price of this customer's today price. Again, going through any of our contracts or pricing records. And what I like about this is you may get multiple hits with what your search criteria. So you actually can select multiple items and with one single action, add those items to our shopping cart. Okay. Well, what if your customer wants to buy something they previously purchased? Well, I could go up under line entry here and do what's called shopping. And one of the ways to do shopping is based on past sales. So for any time frame, the system can produce a simple list of the items that they purchased within that time frame. And it's here in this grid. And I can, again, see availability, current pricing for this customer. This quantity recommended is the last quantity they purchased. Again, gives you the opportunity to upsell. The last price they paid, last purchase date, right? Many more columns. Again, you can rearrange these if you want cost or margin information. You just drag over those columns for your UI. I could do a search. And if I wanted to filter out, look for certain items, I could put on filtering like we talked about. But one of the great things about this list or this grid is it's actually an order pad. So as you find the items your customer is interested in, you simply go through and set quantities. And then again, with a singular action, you can add multiple lines to the order all at once. Okay. Maybe you want to see your promotional products, maybe dead stock you're pushing or models that are being replaced. Okay. We also have an entry method called advance, and this is going to resemble what you're probably used to doing today in your ERP. We can do a stock line, non-stock, special order line. Okay. So for example, if I wanted to sell a frame, again, I could enter in part of the SKU or anything related to the item. I select this item, and when I add it to the order, well, this item happens to be established with cross-reference or accessories. So now you can offer the customer, do you want any rollers, hardware, or belting? And again, it's as simple as selecting the item, maybe setting the quantity, or we can just leave the quantity as 1. And then when I hit submit, now all 3 of those items were automatically added to my order. Okay. At any time in the order, you can hit finish to get out of it. Right? So when we added those first 3 LED lights, we could have gotten out of this order within 3 or 4 seconds. But maybe we want to do some of the other functionality we looked at. Maybe we want to look at taxes and totals. Right? We can see the jurisdictions and the current tax totals. Or maybe you want to collect payment on this order. Right? And we could have a deposit Maybe we can have multiple payments on an order. We can even have multiple payment types on an order. Right? Maybe one type is a credit card. Fully integrated credit card system meets all the latest federal PCI requirements, so it's tokenized. Or again, we have the ability to just hit finish. It's going to go through any of our rules, credit limit, for example, and if it passes, then it would go in the system, and then once it's picked and shipped, it would go on account. Okay, so we place this order for this account. Let's say now you just want to do some analysis, see what their buying trends are, or what they're not buying as much of this year as they did last year. So I'm going to go back up to this app menu we talked about and jump into the analytics. And included with the subscription of CSD is what's called Burst, B-I-R-S-T. It's a best-of-breed BI tool. But not only do you get the tool, you get over 125 different dashboards and report of predefined content by module. So if you want to go into sales, we can add any number of different filters here at the top. Maybe we want to filter out that specific northern companies. But I see here sales analysis by month, number of orders, how we're trending, sales by sales manager, sales dollars, how we're trending. And then, of course, like the KPIs here on the left, margin, profit, sales, cost, fill rate. And you set what makes them go red, yellow, or green. And I could drill into one of those KPIs, and it takes me right to another dashboard. Sales analysis summary, top 10 performers by sales, by margin percent, by profit. Again, with this radio set here on the left, it's as if you get another 10 or 12 dashboards in one, because I can see that same information by vendor or maybe by customer. And then, of course, if you wanted, you could drill down into the underlying detail. And now we can see the table that makes up that visual representation. And maybe I want to see this by customer and by product category. So now in my table or my report I have for a current period, a time period, I have customer and then product category and then sales detail. And all of these can be emailed. They can be scheduled for automatic delivery. Or as I mentioned, we can add as many other reports or filters as you want as well. Okay, so that's the quick glimpse into CloudSuite distribution that I wanted to give you in this webinar, from starting with an inquiry of pricing and availability to looking at the status of an order to processing an order. So why Infor? Why CloudSuite distribution? Infor is very distribution focused. This is their flagship distribution product going forward. It's where they're investing all their investment dollars in functionality as well as technology and innovation. A little bit about Aktion. We are an Infor partner. We are Infor's largest partner, 25-year gold partner. See key industries that we support. We have expertise in distribution, light manufacturing, warehousing, CRM, and e-commerce. Currently over 200 employees across the country. So we're able to offer full software support from 8 a.m. Eastern to 5 p.m. Pacific time. You may recognize some of the company logos on this slide. I like to include it because it gives me a chance to talk about how the CloudSuite distribution is very scalable. Right? We have as small as some distributors that are 5 to 8 users running this system. But some of these companies are hundreds of users, 40, 50 locations, processing thousands of orders a day. So CloudSuite distribution is very scalable. It was built from the ground up for large distributors with multiple locations. So all of that functionality that they require then trickles down to our average small business or medium-sized distributor. Not only do we support your ERP, but at Aktion, we also have many other IT offerings as well. Okay, Jared, I tried to save a few minutes here at the end to see if we had any questions during today's webinar.
Awesome. Thank you, Rob. I'm checking the queue right now. I don't see any in the queue at this time. So if you do have any questions, please feel free to put them in. While we're waiting for those questions to come in, I am going to go ahead and advance the slide forward here. I want to note to everybody that there is what we like to call our CloudSuite distribution, also known as CSD feature short library. So this is a video library available to you. It's that link that you can see on the screen right there. So that's going to be aktion.com/CSD-feature-videos. You actually have direct access to that as well inside of that related content field. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight that panel for you now inside your On24 here. So if you want to go ahead and click on that link right there, you'll have access to over 17 short little demos that are going to be talking about different features and functionality about CSD specifically. So if you want to just watch something specifically about purchasing and how that works, or if you want to look more about accessibility and how that might work with your teams, that's something that's in there and readily available for you to be able to go and access at any point in time. But let me go ahead and want to check that Q&A real quick and see if we had any other questions come in. All right, it's not looking like I see any live questions coming in. If you do have any further questions, though, please feel free to go ahead and you can send them to either Rob or myself. Rob's contact information is directly up here. My email address is jgater, spelled JGATER, at Aktion with a K, spelled AKTION.com. Send us those questions. Also, I like to note that your account manager is going to be following up with you after this call as well. They'd be able to help answer those questions and get you where you need to be as well here. So at this point in time, I do want to ask you, Rob, do you have any final remarks for us?
Just thank you all for attending. And if you, again, hopefully we have the opportunity to show you a deeper dive into how CloudSuite Distribution can make your business run better and make your users more efficient.
Awesome. And again, thank you everybody for attending today's session. We truly hope that you found value in it and have a great rest of your days. Take care, everyone.